and say, I'm so glad you're here. There you go. All right, here we go. We are ready. Going to introduce Yo Jeff. He is a hip-hop dancing coach, trained in both suicide prevention and HIV awareness tie tours, teaching students how to date. He has appeared on NBC and written up in numerous hip-hop magazines, sharing his tips in the magazines. So give your attention to Yo Jeff, a different type of health speaker. Yo Jeff, where is he? There he is.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Now, y'all gotta give me some real APCA love. Make some noise.
Yeah.
What's up? We're all the single people. Make some noise, single. My name is Yo Jeff. I'm a hip-hop dating coach. I teach students in a hip-hop orientation program how to use dating to avoid disease and drama. Before I start my workshop and share my tips, I always like to review a little statistics in regards to dating and STD transfer. You know, we always talk about STDs and how many people are affected, but when you take a look at the statistics, it's really staggering. Even when it comes to contraceptives, we have a lot of contraceptive confusion. People still think that oral sex, anal sex, and other abstinent behaviors prevent STD transfers. When we talk about the diseases, how many diseases out there, it's almost overwhelming how many people are suffering from diseases. Even when we talk about what the drama is, I say I help you deal with drama and help you deal with the disease transfer, but when I'm talking about drama, I'm talking about sexual assault. I'm talking about the fact that 68% of the women that are attacked or raped know their assailants as either a boyfriend, friend, or a casual acquaintance. So even when it comes to dating, this study that I have on the wall here was taken by TopDating.com. It asks people, have you ever dated two people simultaneously or more than one person? Actually asking them, have you ever been a cheater? You know, and they say yes. You know, 53% of them do say it. And then they say, well, what do you feel about dating? How's the overall dating experience? Is it something you enjoy? And they said, no, I find it very difficult. So what I do is I teach people how to be aware of STDs, how to develop defensive techniques in regards to sexual assault that don't necessarily regard becoming a martial artist. And I also educate you on HIV and AIDS awareness. Now, I don't teach you how to be a gynecologist and how to be a martial artist because it doesn't matter to me what disease looks like. It's all the same. I say dating is your first line of defense. So it doesn't matter whether it's herpes, I don't talk about hip-hop herpes or hip-hop AIDS. To me, all the protection is the same. So when it comes to the symptoms, you have to make sure you understand what they are so that if you do come into contact with them, you can do something about them. But otherwise, if you learn how to date, you know, you don't just rely on condoms, you learn to rely on your instincts. You get to know the people that you're dealing with and teach you how to develop that. Somebody may come up to you and say, you know what, I am having a herpes outbreak, or I do suffer from AIDS. Now, in my workshop, which I'm not really able to demonstrate here, I play games. One of the games I play is the condom sense test. And in this game, it's about 25 questions. I put students on stage and I ask them questions. You know, this particular question is, what do all condoms protect against? Now, you may think you have the answer, you know, but it always fools people because we have flavored condoms, we've got regular condoms, we've got latex, and we ask the question. Well, the answer is simple, disease, because even flavored condoms are only used to be used orally, not for vaginal use. So that's one of the things. Now in my workshop, I challenge your purpose for dating. I teach you how to defend yourself from dating predators, and I teach you how to find somebody to date. Now when I say hip-hop, well, I use hip-hop because hip-hop is non-cultural, non-religious. It was started in 1972. It has the values of love, peace, and having fun. We live in a multicultural world now. We have a multicultural president. So people want to date outside of their religion. So I say, if you're Jewish, you listen to your rabbi. They have a system of dating. If you're Muslim, you listen to your imam. If you're a Christian, you know, you listen to your pastor because we even have something. Even if you're from a different culture, they have systems of relating. But if you want to date outside of your culture, then what do? Well, I used dating to find my wife, and I didn't catch an STD and didn't have a child until after I got married. So what I do is I use myself as a breadcrumb trail and teach you how I got where I am. I use dating for what it's worth, to find a life partner. Now, I say I help you avoid the dating predators, but not this gentleman here, and even these predators. I say Chris Brown has demonstrated that he still needs help, and even with Rihanna, I wouldn't hook anybody up with Rihanna because she probably knows how to push your buttons. These are the dating predators that I talk about. I talk about players. I talk about the pickup artists, the people that just want to get a notch on their belt by sleeping with you, or the young ladies that make PowerPoint presentations out of Duke University, if you ever heard of that situation. Or even the gold diggers, the girls that just want your money. I use hip-hop examples, like I use Flavor Flav, and I teach you about being a producer of your own dating show. I help you develop a system. Because what do we do when we date? We go to the movies, we go to the dorm room, watch a DVD, have sex. Many of us don't go to take our date out on the nightclub with us. We don't go to the museum. We don't know what we do. And I always ask, I say, well, do you date better than Flavor Flav? You know, even if you think that show was foolishness, trifling, it was a televised dating process. In his 8 weeks, he learned more about his dates than many of us do from September to December. He talked about their dating history. You might be dating Chris Brown, and he may say, well, my last girlfriend didn't understand me. She was crazy. And he ain't going to tell you that he beat her up. You know, Flavor asked the girls about their ex-boyfriends and found out some of them were still going with the boyfriend. So in the workshop, I helped develop a hip-hop dating contract, which I loosely refer to it as a prenuptial agreement. It doesn't safeguard your finances, it safeguards your feelings. So just as we have a wish list, we want a guy with a sense of humor, we want a girl that's a little attractive, and we want somebody that we get along with. Well, what do you want from your dating experience? These are my dating terms. Now, when you come to my booth, I'm at 49, I have copies of my dating contract, and you can take a look at it. I also teach you how to be a green dater or a good dater. You know, when you date somebody, you shouldn't leave them with a bunch of baggage that the next person has to deal with. You should be able to leave them almost better than the way you found them, or at least say, look, we didn't get along, maybe we're not good for each other, but you're not the worst person in the world. You just got to work on your infidelity, or she got to work on her jealousy, you know, whatever it is. But I also do a game where I use a book that I wrote called 20 Sort of Questions to teach students how to ask questions from each other, how to help foster good communication. I take everybody on a first date together. I bring people up on stage and I let the audience ask them questions. What would you ask these people on a first date? And I go over your questions and go over their answers, and we vote on the person who has the best answers. Because not only do you have to say, hey, what's your major? You know, how many girlfriends have you had? You got to be able to explain what you do. So that's one of the things. And I also have what's called the hip-hop dating codes, and that teaches you how to be a good dater. And one of the dating codes is to balance your attraction. Sure, you want somebody that you connect with, but you know they always say, Jeff, they have to look good. You know, I got Trey Songz and Kim Kardashian, and you know, people say, oh, they're gonna look good. Or if they don't look good, I want the guy to have a nice car. So it don't matter whether you riding high like they do in the South or riding low. Sometimes it's not even how high or low; it's how much money you spend on the car. You know, guys think they got to have the most expensive car, and girls look at it. And many of those are just shallow values. And we wonder, where did those shallow values come from? Well, the stupidity starts in preschool. We're teaching these little kids, you know, to meet a girl and Sleeping Beauty. There's a girl, we don't even know she has the IQ. She can read what her politics are. She just looks good, so kiss her and marry her. You know, that's what we teach, and then we wonder why we have a 43% divorce rate. And then we have other girls, like this wedding in England. You got girls following where these royalties are living in England just because they want to meet a knight in shining armor. And if he fought any battles, his armor isn't going to be shiny anymore. So what is he going to be able to defend you against? So again, I help clarify that. My workshop title is called Stop the Game, and many of y'all know hip-hop, and we know game. But when I'm saying game, I'm not talking about the show on BET. I'm talking about, you know, the fact that you date people, and you want something from the relationship, and all they're dating is to get what they want in disregard for what you want. So we call this the player-hater list, and I teach you how to avoid the players out there. These are the guys who want to date you and your roommate and the rest of the cheerleading squad. You know, a good example of those are Tyler Woods. You know, he's become the poster child, now use him. But then we also